Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to VCT Game Changers Academy, sponsored to you by AIM Labs and, of course, Verizon. So I'm back again. I'm here with Becky Bear and as well as Dr. Delta. So, guys, the last game it was a lot closer. It was a pretty good show match. I see your facial expressions, Becky, and you're showing me. You're like, yeah, I 100% agree. It was a matchup to be watched, but Luna, right? What in the world? Luna's not even on the team. Definitely not Serenity, right? And just coming through like that. We said synergy was important, but I guess not when you're Luna.
I mean, there's a certain level of synergy that is important, and there were definitely a few situations where rounds were lost because maybe not so much like because of Luna not having synergy with the rest of the team, but definitely like kind of sometimes doing her own thing or maybe just like communication that didn't happen quite as
Yeah.
smoothly. And I think it is a big reason that we got to see that game be kind of as close as it was. It wasn't really a stomp one way or another. And the moment that we got to see Team Ambulance Black move on to being an attacking sided team, it definitely became a lot more difficult. And Luna did like hold down the fort and did do a great job on the attacking side, did hold it down on the defensive side. But I think a lot of the reason that it ended up being as close of a game as it could have possibly been at 11 to 13 did come from like having somebody who is a strong player, but maybe isn't super used to playing with the team compared to somebody who has all played together for months and months on end.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. I mean, listen, Luna did get signed for a reason. Of course, whatever the case may be, but still a super strong player, still a player that is going to get signed regardless. Okay, like somebody's going to pick Luna up. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's 100% going to happen. Luna is just insane with the so we saw those shots. I believe it was Delta that was like, does it ever miss? Like there is literally nothing there's nothing that Luna has ever shot that just didn't hit where Luna wanted it to. So spectacular plays from there, but we're gonna have to move on. I believe we should actually be giving you guys the rundown on what's been going on behind the scenes. Delta, if you want to cover that.
Yeah, so we have had the first two rounds of the round robin stage and entered the second one. I'm just looking around to see kind of if there were any shocking results. Let's see. Actually, is that correct? So the favorites going into, playoffs and maybe taking home the whole thing was Dart Monkeys. So Dart Monkeys are the runner-ups for February Game Changers Academy and the winners of March Game Changers Academy, and they were even able to make the playoffs of Game Changers. So definitely a top contending team. But when I'm looking at the standings, it looks like they did get a map taken off them. So randos were able to take a series off them.
Okay. Well, random's not so random apparently because you come in here, you pull something like that. I believe randos actually has I believe it was a couple players from another team, so definitely not
Polaris,
random.
yeah.
Polaris, yeah, which makes sense. Polaris was the dominant team before Dart Monkeys, and they did kind of have that up on them. Unfortunately, Polaris being disbanded, so it doesn't really, it can't connect the same. Of course, you're Polaris, but you're not fully Polaris, so. But still, able to take a map off is pretty big. We're continuing on, though. The next game that we're going to see is, of course, Final Form versus Rebibe Me JETT. Of course, we all know the infamous meme of asking the JETT player to revive you, but
So rest
I
in peace.
rest in peace. Yeah, of
Mhm.
course. Yeah, I don't know
You
what to
gotta you
say.
gotta give respect to the person who made the meme, you know?
Oh,
Right.
that's right. I did not know. Did they?
They
Oh,
died recently, yeah.
okay. Well, now I feel out of the loop, and yeah, okay. Well, that's very sad. Anyways,
Yeah.
continuing on. Yeah, but Final Form versus Revive Me JETT. Of course, with this team in particular, there are some players of NMG on Revive Me JETT. I believe Delta, you're familiar with NMG as well as Becky, but Delta, with NMG being there and going up against Final Form, is there some history that we're just not seeing here?
Like you said, so this Revive Me Jet team, they are three members of NMG. So, some of them having the synergy, having the kind of experience working together, but the other two members are going to be that new on the squad and trying to figure out how to compete for this series. Final Form, on the other hand, they have been getting their reps in. They placed like top 4 in one of the previous Game Changers Academy. They did fairly well. They didn't place into playoffs for Game Changers, but they did fairly well in the group stages. And this team just has so much competitive experience. Names that you all probably recognize, like Chels, just an amazing duelist and have been on a number of teams like Whiteout, team that has done well in the past. Sarah Star, for example, previously on like the Nothing to Lose roster. So some heavy hitters on the form of Final Form, but they haven't been able to clutch out a win for Game Changers Academy just yet. So these two teams definitely have some history. I think in Game Changers, they did go against each other. So the NMG full roster versus Final Form, where Final Form did take the win. So some history, but who knows? These two extra players might be the thing that pulls NMG or Revive Me Jet into the win.
Okay, yeah, well, there we have it, right? The Revive Me Jet, also kind of known as NMG. There are 3 players that were are still on NMG there, so it isn't fully the roster. Of course, the gameplay might be different just because of that, but still, like you said, not able to win a map. And Becky, does that kind of change up the momentum here? What we're thinking of who's gonna win?
I mean, it's one of those situations where that is something that could potentially be scary, but Revive Me Jet is 2-0 so far in this tournament right now. So maybe they haven't previously been able to make too much happen, but they're certainly looking good so far in today. So maybe today is just their day. They're on it. They're ready to go. And if you're Final Form, you're 1-1 right now, and you're really hoping to take this one home so that you can hopefully make it into tomorrow's stages.
Okay, well, I mean that's a pretty good argument. You can't argue with that, but we do have to go over to the map picks and bans in order to see what exactly we're dealing with here. Are we thinking Ascent again?
Oh
It's been
no.
it's been happening for a while now. I'd feel a little bit bad for you guys if we saw it again. But if Becky, if you want to take it home.
Yeah, I mean, we will be going to take a look at the sunny, the beautiful, the beachy breeze as our map for this final series, final map, final showing of today. Not going to be going to Ascent. I wouldn't have minded too much. Again, Ascent's one of my favorite maps. I think that it's
Mhm.
tried and true. It's a great map to show off utility skill. However, Breeze is a great map to show off gunplay skill. So I'm definitely going to be looking into that going on to this final map of our day.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking forward to seeing a different map, and particularly with Breeze. So Final Form actually performed quite well on Breeze. So they have a match
Mhm.
history of like winning 75% of these. So Final Form might prove something difficult to deal with for this Revive Me Jet roster.
You said 75% win rate?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, all right. Then that definitely seems a little spooky.
Yeah, I'd be scared as well. I mean, 75%, right? But if you meet the right team, it could go lower or it could go higher. So it really just does depend on what's going on. But the composition here is there anything that you see that kind of just sticks out?
I
Uh,
mean, they're a mirror match, so
yep.
Nothing sticks out. Okay, yeah, I totally understand. But yeah, I mean, we do have to go into the game. Becky Bear, Dr. Delta, I really do hope you guys enjoy the new map. So good luck.
oh, we will. And thank you for the good luck once again.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing this last round or last series on a different map. Breeze, always one of the favorites with how beautiful it is. So, yeah, this is a mirror matchup. Chell's on the jet as we would have expected, kind of the duelist for the squad. And Icy, Brain Blast, those two new members, Icy taking up the jet and Brain Blast taking up that controller role.
What a good name, Brain Blast. We were talking about it before we came on air. We're pretty sure it's a Jimmy Neutron reference, but if somebody else wants to fix up what my brain remembers from childhood, go ahead and do so. But like the reference, fun name. Definitely appreciating it here. And we are off to the races. Starting off very quickly, Fad, kind of being the spearhead. You do sometimes get to see that Chamber be the aggressive player, but I mean, speaking of being the aggressive Chamber, we're actually seeing the first kill come out from the defensive side, but it's quickly rebutted by the attackers who are able to pick up 2 onto this A site, and Sarastar caught off guard, trying to recover from shooting that shock dart, and Sophia, thankfully, after that rendezvous, is going to be able to pick up 1 more kill there with that shot onto Icy, and all of a sudden a 2v2 situation, but GG is in a great place, unfortunately just shooting right over both of Spite's shoulders, but Fad shores it up very nicely.
Okay, that I feel like this is an indication of how this series is going to go. Sophia at the top of the leaderboard, those amazing picks off of with the headhunter, but REBIBE JETT able to clutch out the round, and hence will be able to buy up 2 Spectres. So yeah, I mean this could just be anyone's game.
Yeah, we are actually gonna see Fad from MNG go ahead from REBIBE JETT, excuse me, go ahead and hold on to just a ghost going into this round. So is kind of still continuing to save compared to a lot of the team, and that could potentially spell a very big buy going into the next round. But speaking of big buys and big entries, Icy is up at the high ground onto this site. The call is to go ahead and go B, and the 50-50% from the defenders going to gamble towards that A site to hopefully be able to take them down on a save round is not going to quite go their way, but this peek around the corner is going to be able to find Spite and Fad. I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about picking something like that Chamber. You're just able to rendezvous away, even though you just ran into basically the entire squad of Final Form, and now only 2 of these defensive players remaining. Make it 1 as Icy's able to find that robot and now is hunting for this Russian hunter. Sarah, though, able to get a nice little trade back. Low HP, though, does mean that GG will finish it up.
Okay. We see REBIBE JETT not playing around. They had the weapons advantage, but you saw them just continue to push, not even allowing Final Form to do the retake, giving Final Form that respect because they know that they have to close things out. If you recall, we said earlier, Final Form was able to take the map win, so definitely don't want things to go that way this time around.
With this kind of lighter buy that we're going to be seeing from the side of REBIBE JETT, does mean that Fad is actually going to continue to hold on to his classic. Actually gave that ghost over to Icy to try and get some of these early kills, and information is gathered, but not a ton of damage done, as Sarastar is actually the first one to draw blood going into this round. These bigger guns definitely doing a big favor as Sophia follows up with another kill onto clutch there, as GG's going to go ahead and throw out those shock darts, try to do that last bit of damage to Sophia, but Sophia has safely moved to a completely different area code. And Blush now long distance gunning across the way from Fad does leave both of them with low HP bars, but those will stick as there are no healers in this game, despite the name of REBIBE JETT for the side of the attacking squad. No reviving will actually be happening unless JETT does somehow learn how to do that within the span of this game.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see any miracles happening today, but we do see REBIBE JETT trying to make their way onto the A site, though spotted out with the knife and slowed down by this Molly.
And I mean, also having this toxic screen coming out from this Viper on the attacking side does allow for them to be able to push onto this kind of safely, but Shells is just being so aggressive. But unfortunately, that vulnerability from that toxic screen push through does allow for GG to actually pick that one up with that Spectre, the lower gun not being that big of a problem, all things considered, until Brain Blast goes down on that Viper. Nice little tree coming out. Happy Earth Day, everybody, as well. Everyone who's using the Gaia's Revenge skins on point for today, as the defenders are able to bring themselves a round back into their favor.
Yeah, you're right. The tree is on point. Seems to be one of the more popular skin these days. So with that Final Form able to convert that round, And I like how careful they're being. Even though they did have the weapons advantage, they were slow. You didn't see them move or aggress in any way to try to, just give weapons to Revive Me Jet. They just got the picks they needed and continued to stay put and let Revive Me Jet come to them.
It looks like nicely playing back to not get caught by that 0 point. Now just trying to make sure what information they can gather. Those two owl drones will narrowly pass each other and able to pick off a 1 kill. But Sophia, high ground, is forced back because of some of those smokes and rendezvous away to safety. Icy now pushing aggressively onto this site, this attacking side Viper wall, making it that much more difficult for the defensive side to get a leg up. But the peaks coming out do cause Clutch to go ahead and fall there. Sophia now able to get aggressive with that. Ooh, going down. A nice flick there onto Icy as Chels takes out Brain Blast. That Viper's Pit will not be happening today. We are not opening this pit up. It is staying in the defensive side's favor.
Okay, they were able to neutralize Brain Blast real well. Even though that wall was up trying to make it difficult for the retake, and then even putting up the Viper's Pit to just make it that much more difficult, they were able to get the pick real quick. The Viper's Pit went down, and from there, Final Form able to clutch out that round. Revive Me Bet. Oh goodness, too many like syllables. So, Revive Me Jet now being stuck on a pistol round. They do have some ultimates available, so Icy will be popping the Blade Storm as she try to go through halls.
Yeah, throwing that long-range cloud burst, and unfortunately, if Icy decides to push any further, will run into the unfortunate trademark, but the not-so-unfortunate right-click is able to take out a nice kill there onto Chels. Blush, though, nicely there for the trade back, so swimmingly so far, but the bomb is down for the attacking side, and we're trying to just wait and make sure that we can get this post plant into a good situation. Shock darts pass like ships in the night, and Sophia gets really aggressive. Is good for one on Clutch, but Brain Blast with a nice trade back. Spite, though, knowing that location, is able to pick up one more as Fad. Interesting location, but the bomb defuses. Not actually going to go through, and all of a sudden, Blush is holding it down, and it will be good despite Fad picking up the kill.
Whoa, oh my gosh. These rounds, especially that last one, is just so close. We saw Revive Me Jet trying to invest in that round because it was so close. They wanted to try to clutch it out. We saw the knives being popped early. There was some value out of that. We saw that gamble right click just looking beautiful. And then the tour de force also being popped. It was just so close. She almost was able to stop the defuse, but the round nonetheless going to Final Form.
And all of a sudden, 3 rounds in a row to the defensive side. It do mean that they are looking quite strong going into this, but we're able to see Revive Me Jet go ahead and be able to buy up to match going into this round. And with this Viper's Pit from the defensive side going out towards this entry onto A side, it does look like the attackers are going to go ahead and say, all right, you forced our hand. We're either going to get a creative direction onto A side or go ahead and commit to this B side. But I mean, the big upside to having that Viper's Pit means that you can go ahead and keep a lot of anchors onto another site. And in that, we're seeing Chels and Sarastar, and Chels, nice shot. I mean, you don't need to make a headshot with that operator, but you know, sometimes you might as well do it for style points.
Yeah, with that, now the knives are prepped if she chooses to use that as well. So things are looking even better for Final Form.
Ooh, and I mean, speaking of looking even better, Chelsea and Sophia picking up 2 more kills. All of a sudden, we are left up to just Brain Blast and Icy, who are just trying to decide exactly where they can possibly go. The toxic screen for the attacking side Viper is hanging out towards that B site, but there's a Viper's Pit on the defensive side towards A, and they're going to have to really get creative if they want to find kills and get this bomb down onto any one of these sites.
Need to be really creative, but Blush already having a sense for where this last player is, and all that is to just clean this up.
Yeah, 10 seconds left, and it means with that, a rough final kill there. Sarastar nicely anticipating that shot, and we're even being told nice shot in the all chat as well, which just goes to show that It was a nice little quick turn from Sarah Star, getting that one and getting 4 points the way of this defensive side.
It was a nice shot and a nice round from Final Four. So you mentioned the Vipers pick coming off at the beginning of the round, making sure that they think twice before going to the A site, but meanwhile shuttling the players to the B site into the operator where they were able to get a pick. So lovely strat coming from Final Four.
With this, Hunter's Fury coming out, but I mean, what in the world? Icy, I mean, had the Wheaties this morning, and I mean, a good first pick taking out Shells there, and I believe that means that that operator is down as well. So Icy, very nice, good timing on that Marshall shot, and a great early long-range pick. I mean, we mentioned that if you're picking a map like Breeze, a lot of the time it is going to come down to gunplay because of these longer angles, and I mean, if Icy's able to commit to more kills like that, we'll be looking pretty strong for the side of REBIBE JETT to come back into this.
Yeah, losing that op is huge. So having to compensate, bring the players back to the A site, more manpower on this A site. So the Viper being placed, trying to get some information, but they do spot some players on mid.
Oh, but Icy picks up another one, Spite playing with fire, or playing with ice, I guess I should say, as Icy's able to pick that one up, and now with this aggression onto site does mean that they're also able to pick up that operator, but Sarah Star once again just being a menace. Unfortunately, Clutch in the wrong place at the wrong time, and Blush is able to shore that one up, and now it is left just to Icy as well as this Viper in the form of Brain Blast. I mean, a lot of kills picked up for Icy, but now Brain Blast has to shore this one up in a 1v2 situation, throwing out that snake bite and trying to get some information and some damage, but unfortunately, Blush catching out Brain Blast with that utility out will be able to pick up that operator and pick up another win for the defensive side.
What are these rounds? I was just saying, like, how were they able to how was Icy able to get all of those picks? Remember Icy being kind of the, I wouldn't say new member on the roster, but just the newest person of the NMG group, and were able to just win a Marshall v op battle, also win a second pick, and then pick up the operator, but then still lose the round. These rounds are just so close. It's anyone's game.
And hoping for it to remain that way if you're a REBIBE JETT fan, because they are down a few rounds. They had a nice start picking up that pistol and then that extra round afterwards, but since then have kind of struggled to get onto a site and get any damage across. So starting off with this owl drone, making sure that this B site is clear, followed up by that KO, using that null command to try and just shut down any utility that could possibly be on site, as Fad and Clutch start off nicely with 3 kills to boot, and the Viper's Pit this time will go down and will be good to stay, as Shells and Blush, the only 2 players remaining, are trying to get a lot of damage back and are able to do quite a bit of good until Fad just comes from a completely different area, and the lurk is good to get them a point back.
Okay, yeah, I love that approach that REBIBE JETT did. An investment of the KO to try to get onto site, making it difficult. For example, you can shut down the chamber that way. So just making it that much easier to get onto site. The Viper's wall is trying to close out the sight lines that you've mentioned before, the long sight lines that are so advantageous when you're on the defense. So able to close one more round, though Chels still has the operator on board and holding down the A site.
Oh, and this is quite the aggressive strategy that we're seeing from the attackers so far, just running completely down the alleyway, dashing onto site, and I mean, followed up by that flash from Clutch means that Icy is able to find 2 early kills. That operator is down yet again, and Sarah Star running into a little bit of a grenade, taking some damage, but is trying to get that nice peak kill, and I mean, Clutch wasn't the one to get it, it was Fad, but a perfect round going the way of REBIBE JETT. How did we even get here?
That is a great question. I just don't understand how these rounds are the way they're going. REBIBE JETT have turned into a different team the last 2 rounds. The aggression that we've seen coming from them they're starting to try to push the limits on Final Form, as they know they need to do, because like we said before, Final Form is just that good of a team. So this time, Clutch already ready with the knife to try to get some feelers in mid, and the knife's already popped to try to push down through elbow.
Yeah, that owl drone gonna play Jett's eyes for a little bit and are gonna be able to maybe not see Fad, but will at least lead Chels into a good situation to pick up that first kill. And I mean, both of these Jetts are just battling to be top of the board as Icy picks up that kill onto Sarah Star, absolutely blazing onto the site. And Chels is kind of forced into a corner here, doing some little jumps, trying to get some extra information. 2 knives missed, but does allow for Spite to pick up a kill. Brain Blast to trade out, and Chels is now in a situation with this Phantom, picks off Icy. The blades will not land onto Chels, but Chels's aim will be true. Brain Blast now the only one remaining for the attacking side. Throws down that toxic screen, but has to get this bomb down for a chance in here. The flash won't be good to blind for very long, but will be able to allow Blush to come from an insane long peak.
Okay. Final Form trying to bring things back, but that still was a good round overall from Revive Me Jett. Okay, a timeout coming on the side of, let's see, the different. So Final Form, I think that's a good call on their half, because you while you're in the lead, while you're trying to keep up this momentum, just try to talk things through. Final Form, I haven't really seen them, take advantage of pushing the limits and trying to get some lurks off of Revive Me Jett. So having that coach in place, probably going to try to think through some strategies so that they can maintain this lead.
And so far, I mean, they've been able to hold a little bit of a lead, but it has been kind of a back and forth, especially since they were able to take down, what was it, 5 rounds in a row. Finally, were able to get one back. This is an interesting timing as far as a timeout is concerned. After a win, you don't normally see something like that, but I think they're just trying to bring their advantage and stretch it as far as possible in this first half.
I agree. Just trying to continue that momentum. They have to do things like take Icy out, for example. We saw Icy with the amazing shots on the Marshall, no less, and the Operator. They know that they're going to have to shut players like Icy down. So just regrouping, and hopefully they'll be able to continue that lead.
Once again, we are seeing Icy be extremely aggressive through this hallway, kind of just running, does not care, goes ahead, throws that cloud burst to block off any amount of sight while that door is let up.
Ouch.
And ooh, Blush maybe wasn't expecting to come that up close and personal with the tour de force from Fad there, but it does reward Fad with a very nice kill and a quick rendezvous out of there, and now able to peek around once more, finds one, saw a second one there as well, so is going to continue to watch that, and is instead rewarded with the kill onto Chels. Sarah Star is able to pick up a 1 off of that aggression, but Fad with a 4K now at the top of the board. Both of these chambers, top of the board.
4K from Fad. Wow. So, I kind of take back that recommendation because it just came back to bite them. So I was saying, yeah, Final Form should, push the boundaries and try to flank. No. My bad. With Fad watching the flank, that's probably not going to work. So probably going to have to rethink that strategy.
It was a valiant effort, but potentially maybe with Fad on something like a Vandal and maybe not the Tour de Force or an Operator, it could potentially go better, but at least something that is going to go better is information being able to be gathered off of that 0 point from Blush to start this one off. They will know that at least a good number of members are moving towards this B site, and that does force 2 more members of the defensive side to move towards that site in rebuttal, but it does also kind of scare off the attackers. They're going to go ahead and say, nah, we think we can make a better show happen towards this A site, and with that, Chell says, hold up, they're not committing to this B site. I think I can smell what they're doing, and I'm going to go ahead and move back towards this A site as Sophia sees that that toxic screen is going down from the attacking side of Viper, and now is going to kind of decide to hold her all on this site, and unfortunately misses those shots onto Icy. That does allow for Icy to pick that one up. Chell's now having to do a little bob and weave in limbo against this Hunter's Fury, and just like that, I mean, Icy tried to get aggressive, but Chell's with a nice little flick does eventually go down, but at least being able to pick up Icy is pretty big, as Fad is getting just so aggressive here. Whoa!
No, whoa is how I would describe Fad's play. Fad continuing to play this lurk role and having so much value out of it. And we are already at the half. It's a 6-6 tied game. And like we were saying earlier, we don't really know who's going to win this. There's just so many variables in play that we don't know quite how to factor into it. And both teams are like, they just have the aggression and the knowledge to be able to fight back. Final Form, though, probably a little bit more desperate because, like you said earlier, they do need to win this map to have a chance to move on to the next stage of the tournament.
Yeah, it is looking a lot more dire for that squad, but I mean, 6-6 half, and now moving on to the attacking side could spell some good things for them, especially with these opening 2 first picks. Followed up by that kill going Chell's way. All of a sudden, 2 defensive players left. Clutch is going to run into Chell's potentially a little bit sooner than you would normally anticipate, but going to start with this flash to get it all going. Does find that kill into Chell's, but it will be the only kill for that round that is going to go REBIBE Jett's way.
Yeah, expected Chell's there, but by then it was already too late. So Final Form able to clutch that first round up. Hopefully able to convert it as well, as they're buying up, all of them buying up Spectres. And, oh, on Icy, a Marshall coming out. That kind of scares me a little bit because we see how dangerous they can be with that. And look at this positioning on the map. Interesting that they're all going down halls, while Final Form, not so much.
I mean, when you're on one of these save rounds, you do kind of make that like 50-50 choice. Like, are they going to come to this site? We might as well all gamble, try to get as much aggression as possible and try to get lucky. And unfortunately, in this situation, we're just not seeing Final Form pick the right 50-50. So are going to have to quickly move to go towards this B site, as that's where the bomb is down. But we're seeing a very long-winded lurk from 2 members of the defensive side, so this could potentially go disastrous, as Icy has also taken a lot of damage through that toxic screen.
Just time is continuing to tick. It's going to be that much more difficult to retake.
Oh, and speaking of being difficult to retake, Sophia and Chell's just picking up so many kills. 3 kills going the way of that Sova. And I mean, Blush and Chell's just finish it off. A flawlessly great round. I mean, it was, again, an unfortunate 50-50 pick from the defensive side. But now being able to pick up bigger guns, they should be looking a little bit better.
Yeah, unfortunately that gamble just didn't work out for them, and because of the size of this map, just to try to crawl back to the other side is so difficult. And with the trademarks being put down, they know they're gonna have to clear angles out. The chamber could be on the lurk. There's just so many angles to clear out. It's difficult to retake with those 50-50 gambles like that.
And with that, also, we're seeing Icy get aggressive once more. I mean, we've seen Icy and Fab be so aggressive on that attacking side, so it's great to see them continue to hold that same level of aggression once moved to this defensive side. And now trying to posture towards mid, trying to see if anybody is rotating after that information that was gathered towards cave, and isn't able to spot anyone out, so is able to at least say that they're likely coming onto this site. And with a quick dash, that up close and personal damage from that Spectre gonna do a lot for Chell's, as the trademark's able to be shot down. Blush goes with it, but Spite for that trade back. And the revenge kill from Spite will be good there. And now gonna hold this angle by these boxes. Will run into one, but running in to Spite is maybe not where Fad wanted to be. Clutch able to pick up 1 kill as well with that grenade. GG though to trade back, and all of a sudden Chell's holding that angle, picks up 3 kills and picks up a 9th round.
Oh man. Okay, that was a great round for Final Form. So they were able to, well, first go shopping and get those weapons off of Revive Me Jet, but then also make it so damaging to, uh, to to win Revive Me's bonus round. So things are looking in their direction. They are able to continue to buy up those rifles while Revive Me Jet are on pistols. This time, in terms of the gamble, looking a little bit more favorable for them.
0 point to start it off, followed by that okay, that was a really nice flash. Unfortunately, it being on the other side of that toxic screen means that it didn't blind the important person who was actually able to take down Icy. So just an unfortunate situation of what should have been some really beautiful utility happening right there, as Fad, now the only player remaining, trying to just find a kill or an exit frag or two, but it will not be so, as a perfect round and double digits are now on Final Form's side.
Okay, so even if you do gamble the right site, then the problem is you have vandals and rifles in your face, so it's a little difficult to try to overcome that, as Final Form beautifully were able to get onto site and clear that up. So Revive Me Jet, at least they are able to get this operator on IC, looks to be planted at the right site to try to get a pick off of Final Form. If they can get 1 or 2 picks, that might be the way to turn the tide.
And it looks like part of it is also going to be Icy on this operator. I mean, closely backed up by 2 more players, but unfortunately, one of those players falling to that aggression very early as well in clutch. So, going to continue to hold this cave area, it looks like, from Icy, but the rest of the attacker is going to go ahead and potentially commit to something completely different. Thankfully, Icy, in resolution to hold that angle, is able to find that kill onto Blush, but with it at the same time across the map, Chels finds that kill onto one of the members of the defensive side to make it that much more difficult for Icy to really connect and get over to the other side of the map. Will potentially find Spite here, and that will be good to at least even us up to a 3v3, and unlocks the Blade Storm, which is a much better retaking weapon here.
Yeah, the Blade Storm online, definitely much easier for the retake. Oh, and the operator too.
Oh my gosh. And the operator to find 5 kills. What a round to get back into Revive Me Jet's favor. And I mean, Revive Me Jet, Revive Icy, who just was, I feel like, asleep compared to the previous rounds, but an ace for Revive Me Jet.
Well, that is a round. Clip it, folks. Icy, whatever, an operator, a marshal, whenever it's in their hands, you just gotta watch out. That was an amazing round. I was a little worried for them, actually, because Spite was on the prowl, but they were able to spot her out and able to shut that down, and then Icy just was on the loose. So at least they were able to get 1 round for this half. But Final Form still looking good, as they have 4 ultimates online, and the KO ult just popped.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of ultimates. We're throwing 2 of them out right now between that Null Command and this Hunter's Fury. A lot of damage going Clutch's way, and Clutch will fall. Icy kind of forced back because of this operator and trying to just hold these long angles and see if somebody peeks out. It's like we're going to see GG go ahead and use that Owl Drone and try to gather some information, as Icy still waits for somebody to come right into that scope.
No.
Good for 1, but unfortunately, Sophia just as ready, tour de force in hand, and just keeping it held down. That bomb is starting to tick, and it is left just up to Gigi and Brain Blast, who are trying to decide, do we go for it, do we leave it? And it looks like with Brain Blast picking up this operator, they're going to choose to save and hope to just keep themselves from their opponents getting to match point.
Yeah, definitely a good call. Keeping that operator, as we've seen Icy just doing great work with it, so can live to fight another day for the next round. And just the value coming out from both the Jett players and the Chamber players for this map have been so impressive. Both of these agents, having a similar mindset in terms of, you want to push the angle and then you get your get out of jail free card, and just both teams have been using it quite beautifully.
And with that, I mean, we are still 4 rounds behind for Revive Me Jett. I mean, Icy does have this operator and 20 kills, but is going to have to do a lot of work considering that half the team is on a save. GG still has that Vandal from last round, but they're in a very broken gun situation for this defensive side and are going to be kind of forced to play really passively as the attackers are already onto site. The bomb is already going down, and the setup is going to be completely good for the attacking side. And Fad already kind of at least motioned out by that recon bolt. Some shock darts are going to follow it up along with some flashes from Blush, and it's just going to be so difficult for them to get back onto this site, but they've really got to be kind of funneling people out of these corners so that we can try and see Icy and GG get some action right back. And it looks like alongside that headhunter from Fad actually being able to pick up quite a few kills, but unfortunately not when you're trying to peek through that toxic screen. Sarah Star, the only one remaining, peeks around to 3 and GG finds it. I think they'll be good on this defuse. I don't think we're ticking quite fast enough just yet.
3 seconds left, though. I'm definitely sweating for them. Wow, final form. I thought that things were going their way. The wall placement was beautiful and trying to slow down a retake. You can see many of the members when trying to get onto site, well, one, their vision was impaired, but then also they had that vulnerability placed onto them when they tried to enter the site. But Revive Me Jett did them one better. It's the operator still in the hands of Icy, as well as the Viper's Pit looking like it's going to be popped. The Tour de Force also being popped. They aren't playing around this round.
Oh, I mean, they've got to continue to not play, because when your opponents are 1 point off of round match point, I mean, Icy is just back with a vengeance. A 3K to start it off, knows where Spite is, and 4 kills. I mean, between 3 rounds, getting 9 kills picked up from Icy is just, I mean, perfect flashes across the screen, and that's how Icy's playing now.
And yeah, that would tilt me too. Timeout is definitely in place. Icy, man, just the bragging power coming out from this player. 25 and 16. I won't be surprised if they're able to hit the 30 mark by the end of this map, because just clicking heads and making it difficult for Final Form to try to close out this map.
And I mean, I'm trying to figure out, like, every single time that we get to see Icy go that crazy, it's hard for me to imagine a way that Final Form can come back into this. I mean, they're doing quite well to take it down, and it's just, they're so close to being on match point and just being on the precipice, but Icy is just starting to come back with such a vengeance. I mean, I guess we're really starting to see why the name of the team did come in as Revive Me Jett, and it's because of Icy's Jett.
That is a good call. That's probably where it came from. So Revive Me Jett, they wanting to close things out, made that last round pretty expensive. We saw the Tour de Force and the Viper's Pit being popped. So successful around that way, but they don't have too much to play around with for this round. Granted, the op is still in play, and it's at the site where the Final Form seems to be taking residence.
Oh, I see a nice high angle with this operator. Will potentially get spotted out by the Owl drone that's going to come out and forced back by that 0 point, but oh, I mean, running and gunning right into that operator. That's the way that you beat it, is by getting up close and personal. So that timeout definitely doing some great work as Chels finds 2 kills. Sophia as well to pick up 1. And all of a sudden we are left just to Fad in a 1v4 situation. Whoa! But I mean, if you're able to get a bunch of shots like that, Fad certainly could be looking at being able to clutch this one out. Taking out Chels, very nicely done, but this Viper's Pit is going to make it that much more difficult to redo those quick flicks and those headshots.
Yeah, Viper's Pit definitely in the way, already with decay from the poison orb, the wall in the way, just so much in the way to try to even get some eyes on Spike. So with that, we see match point from Final Form. Wow, this has been a game.
I mean, I'm out of breath with how much is happening in each of these rounds. And I mean, match point is called. And like we were saying, I mean, Final Form needs to win this one to have a chance at going into tomorrow's stages. But Revive Me Jet certainly putting up a strong battle. And I see going ahead, digging into those pockets, getting those credits, and buying up an operator yet again, just hoping to keep this held down for the defensive side and Revive Me Jet's squad.
Trying to get some information onto the B site, might be able to push off Icy, but nope, Icy still gets the pick and looking for another one.
Yeah, I mean, Revive Me Jet is saying, Final Form, if you want to make it to tomorrow, you're going to have to go through Icy. And once again, a nice early pick, not letting that same level of aggression happening. I mean, Blush, maybe...
No shot.
What? Excuse me, Icy? Hello? I wanna know exactly how you have that level of game sense to take that one in. Sophia is the only one remaining, is like kind of just skirting around, playing Ring Around the Rosie with Clutch here, but oh, okay, that was almost a little bit spooky there, Sophia. You're trying to scare me right now, but in a 1v3 situation, the bomb is down. You have to believe that the defensive side is watching it. That Owl Drone is going to reveal you just a little bit. We're going to have to see some insane flicks from Sophia if Sophia's going to bring this one home. And I mean, Icy is just watching like a hawk. Yet another 4K for Icy.
Another one. Wow. I mean, it's match point, but it's just so close. I was saying that Icy's probably gonna hit the 30 mark. There's no doubt that they'll hit the 30 mark before this map is over. But I don't know. It's such a close game. Final Form need to be in perfect form to try to close this out and have the chance to continue to compete.
It looks like with that in mind, the good old squad of Owl Drone, followed up by Jett, followed up by KO Flashes, all together going towards this B site, but not able to gather any exact information as Fad, able to make sure that that Owl Drone doesn't get too much. Shell's going to do some jump peeks to try to gather some more information, but no shots coming out from the defensive side just yet. We do see that Icy slowly moving towards this B site, should that end up being the call, but the bomb is actually hanging out towards that A side. A 1-for-1 trade between Fad and Shells there. GG now able to get a little bit of damage there onto Blush and information, but I mean, once again, Icy, that is the 30th kill of this match for Icy, so your foretelling certainly coming to fruition there, as now Icy is going to go ahead and move back towards this A site, as that's where the bomb is planted.
Bomb to KO's ult is popped to try get onto this site. Things are looking a little bit favorable for Revive Me Jet, but Blush catches just the glimpse of them and knows where some of the players are.
Sophia also trying to be a little bit up close and personal, able to get that jump onto Clutch. Icy with yet another kill, trying to quickly turn and get the shots, but thankfully that Blade Storm once again. Will this be like the third 4K for Icy here? It
No
will.
shot. No
Holy,
shot.
oh, but will the bomb go off? Oh my gosh, the bomb does go off! GG falls. Icy with the third 4K of this second half, but it ends up going the way of Final Form.
Oh my gosh. What just happened? How did that happen? Final Form able to clutch that out in the end, but it was so close. Oh my goodness. That was an amazing game.
I mean, what a great game for us to end on. I mean, the two players at the top of the board are Icy and Fed, and they weren't even on the winning team, but that just goes to show, like, we just kind of ran, like, we started our day, and every single round was very close, or they felt close. Like, a lot of damage was going both ways, a lot of people were dying on both sides, but, like, ultimately, like, one of the teams just, like, had such good coordination, they were able to finish it up. Second map, we go 11-13. So also a very close game, as close as you can get without going to overtime. And then, I mean, if you were here, you're in the chat, you were able to watch this last one. It literally comes down to match point where somebody is like 1 second off of finishing this defuse. And what a like heart-pounding game for us to finish on.
Yeah, no, I'm like shaking. That was an amazing game. I said earlier, this was a match between the Jets and the Chambers, both on both sides, just doing amazing work. But Icy, wow, the MVP of the match, unfortunately on the losing side, but still doing great work. Able to hit 33 kills for
Wow.
this series. It was like ICV final form. Definitely a tough contender.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, it was kind of funny that we are seeing, like, 33 and 17 is the final KD of Icy, and then on top of that, Fad got 20 and 15, and it felt like every single time that Icy was getting a 4K, that final kill was going to Fad. So it makes
Yep.
sense that Fad is the next up on this leaderboard, but you gotta give it to then everyone who is on the side of final form. Sophia, Sarah Star, Chels are the next 4 on that leaderboard to go up, and just a nice amount of kills spread between them. And we definitely got to see a lot of good stuff from Sarah Star as well, being right place, right time. A lot of up close shots that ended up committing to some great kills that mattered a lot for the side of Final Form.
Right. Final form, with their experience together, they were able to shut down Icy for a couple of rounds. You know, they used the drone to try to take take them off their perch, but it was just so much. But congrats to Final Form for being able to clutch out that last round. So we don't quite know the standings of all of the matchups, but like we said, the top two teams from each of the groups will move on to the next set of the next stage for tomorrow. So tomorrow, definitely stay tuned. Come back and see us so that you can see who made the top 8. We start at, let's see, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern for the Game Changers Academy top 8.
We have a little bit of information about who's going on to tomorrow. We have two
Oh,
for sure's, and then there's like kind of one that's a shocker, and I don't know how it's exactly handled. But we just watched a Group D match, and 3 teams are 2-1, and it's one
mm,
tap Final Form and now Revive Me Jet. So that's a lot of teams to have even scores. And according to this, since it's a three-way first tie, it looks like it might just be in alphabetical order, so we don't exactly know how that ends up being exactly cut, but we're definitely going to see Randos and Dart Monkeys from Group A, and we're definitely going to be seeing Team Mystic Venus and FXP Blue from Group C. And then Group B, I believe, is also still technically undecided. Their games are done, but I don't know how their matches are kind of breaking down because there's 3 teams that are 1-0-1. There's 2 teams that are
oh.
1-0-1, and they haven't finished their games. So we're still undecided in Group B. But
It's so close though. Like, remember how we were saying at the beginning, there's so many new teams that we haven't heard from, teams that have only had like a few official matches, but they have come with their A game and were able to take amazing rounds off of these more well-known teams.
oh, yeah, and there will be a whole lot more of that tomorrow. I mean, Dr. Delta was just saying that, and if you want to see more of Dr. Delta and myself later in the day casting tomorrow, and you want to see more of these teams, certainly come back tomorrow. You want to hit them with those times again, Dr. Delta?
Yep. So tomorrow we want to return at 12 p.m. Pacific and 3 p.m. Eastern. So that's it for today. Thank you all for joining us for these riveting games. I'm sure tomorrow's games will be just as exciting. So make sure you tune back.